Welcome, 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 welcome. Happy Monday, happy Monday, happy Monday after the Super Bowl. Welcome to the Two Man Front podcast with the Fog. I know that's not the Fog, but he will be with us. But that is my boy Drew Trammell from Game Winning Drive, aka the Sports Box as well. He's joining us today as a special guest. We really appreciate him being here. Fog will be with us in a minute. Definitely appreciate everyone being here tonight. Everyone that's tagged. We got a lot to go through today, so let's go ahead and get right to it. But first, subscribe to our YouTube. Use that QR code in the corner right there. Subscribe to our YouTube comment. And of course, like I always say, please leave your comments below. We love when you guys are commenting. We love when you guys are with us. Makes the show go much smoother. Makes the show go much better when you guys are participating in the show. Now, obviously, there was a big football game on yesterday, as you guys watched. It was actually a massacre in New Orleans. Right. And we're going to go ahead and talk about what's going on. We're going to talk about, get our immediate reactions. We let it marinate a little bit. It's been over almost 24 hours since the game has ended. So we're going to go ahead and get Super Bowl 59 reactions. Fog and I love doing this segment, winners and losers of Super Bowl 59. So Drew, I know if you've never done this with us before. So winners and losers can be literally anybody or anything that was involved in the Super Bowl. It could be a player, it could be a coach, it could be anyway, a person in the stands, the halftime show, whatever you want, whatever you want to be. Give me your two winners, either side of the ball, either team, doesn't matter. Two winners of Super Bowl 59.
I think the biggest winner that all of us, even when Fog gets on, you including yourself, is Jalen Hurts. I mean, obviously, there's so much I could talk about because I've been on his band camp for so many years, and then I kind of teetered off last year after all the controversy with Sirianni and all of them, and then not a passer, but you reminded us in our group text, and it's true. This is the second Super Bowl now that he's outperformed from a stat standpoint against Mahomes. He played great in the NFC title game against the Washington Commanders from a passing perspective, and then we were wrong about Barkley. Well, we were right about the carries. Barkley finished over 25, and yet he was below 60 yards rushing. This obviously this game was determined by the defense, the front four of the Eagles. But for Jalen Hurts, I want to specifically talk about him. I'm proud of him. He'll probably never see this, but it's a joy and refreshing to see another. I'm trying to say this without being controversial. Another black man being able to win to be not only to win a Super Bowl, but to be able to go against the narratives and say, "Oh, you're just a rusher, you're just a guy that can do RPOs and then run read in a first read." Which that might be the case with him still, but the fact that he was able to do what he was able to do, and to believe in himself and to show the characteristics of I mean, there was a lot more giddy up in his running. In the game, over 70 rushing yards 100%. In the Super Bowl, and he looked a lot quicker and a lot faster than he's had in this entire postseason run, and arguably this entire year. You could tell he wanted it, and it's really refreshing to see that from a guy like me who appreciates the Cams and the Michael Vicks of the world. When I grew up watching them. They just came in a wrong era. Now we're in this era where black men are able to differentiate yourself and prove themselves that they can play the game at the most important position across not only team sports, all sports. Quarterback is the most toughest position to play in the NFL. Jalen Hurts has shown us twice that he's able to do it in the biggest stage of them all. And it's a benefit to have the offensive line that he does have. It's a benefit to understand that he has two great wide receivers and a future Hall of Famer behind him. But dude, I mean, it's a win. It's just a win for him for black young black kids that are wanting to grow up and be quarterback. To see Patrick Mahomes, to see Jalen Hurts go up 1-on-1, and seeing that these two young men have been able to dominate at the biggest stage in the last, what would you say, Brian, since 2019 or 2020? Since Mahomes made it to the Super Bowl in 2020. So
Yeah.
this is now 5 straight years we've seen 4 out of the 5 years that we've seen a black quarterback being able to be in the Super Bowl. And so I'm happy to see progression. I'm happy to see that, but I'm happy for Jalen Hurts, bro. I'm just happy for Jalen Hurts. It's a story that should be Hollywood written. It's just great what he's been able to overcome. That's my one big winner.
Yeah, I think Jalen's definitely the answer for at least for most. I think Jaylen. I mean, you kind of hit every nail in the coffin, every nail in the head. When describing Jalen Hurts as a quarterback, definitely as a man, as a person, Jaylen has just definitely has just really withstanded so much controversy and so much adversity. I mean, it's unbelievable. Going back to Alabama, being benched in the national championship game, I always go back to that. I'm like, yo, when the GOAT coach says, yo, you're not good enough to play, we want this true freshman to come in the second half. And then the true freshman does come in and plays better and then wins it. And then, ironically, throws the game-winning touchdown pass to the guy you throw touchdown passes to now, Devontae Smith, back in 2018, which is crazy.
Crazy.
Right?
Crazy.
When he goes to Oklahoma. Then people forget that he came back to Alabama.
He didn't
leave it immediately. He came back to Alabama, and then Jaylen goes. Then he's pretty much benched all year, and then he comes in, spells Tua in the SEC title game and kills it, saves Alabama, and then goes to Oklahoma, and then obviously the one thing I think I love about Jalen Hurts that kind of gets overlooked a little bit, but it's so obvious because his dad was a coach and he's extremely coachable. Like the guy does what he needs to do. And he's like every coach's dream. Like he doesn't complain.
The leader.
He doesn't bitch and moan. He's a leader. He just does what he's supposed to do. He will be fine with throwing 120 yards in the game. He'll be fine with throwing 300. Like he doesn't complain. Like it's unbelievable how a lot of guys will say like, I'd rather win championships than accumulate stats. But they don't really mean that a lot of the time. They don't mean that. But I will say that Jaylen means that. Like he definitely means that. So Jalen Hurts, man. Like, yeah. Look, I was the same way. Him coming out of college, I knew he needed a lot of work. He was a project. Whatever you want to call it, right? He was a project guy, second round pick. I never really thought he should change positions because I always said I don't think he's like athletic enough to change positions as far as like what he can do somewhere else. But I just felt like he needed to be coached up, and he's been coached up. He's had some look, to be fair, Jaylen has had some really great coaches in his career. Like from Lincoln Riley to Kellen Moore, Nick Sirianni, Doug Peterson, Frank Wright. I mean, he's been coached up by some of the best. So he's been blessed with that, but definitely the winner. And of course, Super Bowl, wins MVP, outplays. You can say statistically all you want. I think he outplayed him, period. He just outplayed Patrick Mahomes in both Super Bowls. The only thing he did wrong 2 years ago was had that fumble, and it obviously kind of changed the game. But he outplayed Mahomes in both Super Bowls, and we'll get to the reasons why in a minute. But Jaylen is definitely my biggest winner. Who's your second winner?
There's more than two. I got more than two. It's hard. It's hard to pinpoint. Yeah, I would be remiss if I didn't pick. Let's go! Congratulations, buddy. Congratulations, man. I told you a month ago.
They not like us.
Oh my God. My second winner, it has to. I'm all about defense wins championships, and it's hard to not say Vic Fangio for the game plan that he brought to this game. I mean, it's to understand, like literally understand. This is the Chiefs' offense. This is Patrick Mahomes. He dropped back 46 times, and you only rushed 4 the entire game, which means no blitz, no nothing, and you sacked him 6 times. It's unraveling for me to see the game when I watched it again in a condensed hour on NFL Network, and I watched. It's the first time what Dan Orlovsky said this morning on Get Up. It's so true. It's the first time you've seen Patrick Mahomes look uncomfortable in his entire career. You could probably make the same case against Tampa Bay when the Super Bowl against Brady. But other than then, I think this was a worse outing. I know he threw for 3 touchdowns in garbage time and all that crap, but he looked lost. He looked like we need to put him on a milk carton and find out who kidnapped him. That's how bad it looked for him. And so you got to give Vic his credit where credit is due, man. The defense looked great. Cooper got a pick 6, which was really awesome on his birthday. I had no idea that was his birthday yesterday. And, Bond, the guy from the New Orleans that was a special teams guy, you could have made the case that he should have won MVP. I mean, that pick was insane. And so that's a winner for me, man. Vic had these boys ready to play for 2 weeks.
Well, give us your winners.
Winners. Easy. Eagles. Winners for me. Drew, I don't know how much you went into it with the defense, but just right there, Vic Fangio defense. That's one of the biggest winners. They were prepared. I enjoyed the game because I enjoyed watching the defensive both between Fangio and Spags, because Spags had a great defensive game plan. It's not his fault the offense sucked. Yeah. So it's not his fault the offense only had the ball in the first half for like 6 minutes. That's insanity.
They didn't pass the 50-yard line the first half.
Just to put this into perspective, Philadelphia led the league in time of possession this year, 32 minutes and like 18 seconds or some shit like that. 32 minutes. A football game is 60 minutes. They led the league in time of possession with 32 minutes. They possessed the ball for 24 fucking minutes in the first half.
It's crazy.
Let that set in. But yeah, the Eagles defense across the board. Fangio, Cooper DeJean, Josh. Listen, even right now, Josh Sweat, to me, that man played a fantastic. We were when you texted in the group chat with us who's your MVP, and I said Josh Sweat, and literally as I text Josh Sweat, fucking Jalen Hurts 40+ yard bomb to Devontae Smith, and I'm like, well, there goes the MVP for Josh Sweat.
1,000%.
Yeah.
Thrown right out the window.
I think all of us would agree with you. At that time, he was definitely MVP.
But another winner for me, Xavier Worthy. 8 catches, 150 yards, 2 touchdowns, and then granted, one of his 2 touchdowns was garbage time touchdowns.
No, two of them were. No, not one of them.
Because the first one was in the
third quarter. It was in the third quarter.
Even though they were down 34-0.
Down like 30?
34-0.
34-0. 34-0.
So I can't say that it was like.
Brian, what do you want me to do? They have to play to come back.
At that point, I almost walked my dog. Okay, so I almost didn't see I almost didn't see that touchdown.
Well, Philadelphia's walking the dog on Kansas City because they walked them all over New Orleans.
Yeah. They're burning Kermit the Frog right now on the streets.
Even before that, because I think Xavier Worthy only had 3 catches in the second half. 2 of them just happened to be big touchdown catches, but Xavier Worthy was the only good thing on the offense that you saw happen in Kansas City. The unfortunate thing is Xavier Worthy needs a A.J. Brown.
Needs an X.
He needs an A.J. Brown. Brian, you and I talked about this. I said Devonta Smith's biggest thing is going to be he's not a true number 1. He needs A.J. Brown. But once he gets comfortable and settled in, when A.J. Brown Devonta Smith right now is ready to be a number 1 wide receiver in the NFL. And not only a number 1 wide, an elite number 1 wide, a top 10 number 1 wide.
Yeah, Devontae?
Yes. Xavier Worthy needs an A.J. Brown in Kansas City. They need a Tyreek Hill. They need somebody to open it up for Worthy. Worthy is not a true number 1 right now. But those are defensively, the Eagles. No, who? Who's their number 1?
Rasheed Rice.
I feel like Rasheed Rice was coming into his own before he got hurt.
Yeah. No, he was. I was thinking that too.
We'll see.
We'll see. Yeah.
That's why when I texted, I said Devontae Adams is coming back, or Devontae Adams is like a must for the Chiefs. I was like, oh well, we have Rasheed Rice. I don't know if Devontae is going to be. I don't know if they're going to need Devontae Adams. Rasheed Rice was good. He was good. He was pretty damn solid before he went down. But I get your point with Xavier. I was pretty critical of him early this year. I made a post about him, and people kind of got on me and told me to be patient. You're right. I should have been more patient. I just felt like I'm a man. I'm
critical. Brian, we could go back. We have the receipts. We could go back.
I didn't have.
He killed me for having Worthy in my top 5.
I didn't have any of those lame Texas receivers in my top 5, but Xavier Worthy's coming into his own, man. Like I like what I see. Even garbage time. Somebody compared him. I don't know who it was. Somebody compared him to Deshaun Jackson. I was like, Deshaun Jackson can actually play wide receiver. I wouldn't know that. I don't know about all that.
Jesus, I said he was a diet version of Deshaun Jackson coming out, and in Kansas City, that's exactly why Andy Reid was willing to get him.
Yeah,
he might be better.
No,
he might be. I think so.
No. Deshaun Jackson.
I think Deshaun Jackson's super overrated. So that's the story for me. He's a guy that can run only 2 routes in the route tree. So I think Worthy's a lot better than Deshaun Jackson.
You know what? We can't go into that right now because I don't want to speak to the Deshaun Jackson debate.
Sorry,
I'm not. We'll save this for another day. I'll kill Drew on that another.
We'll see you guys. We'll see you guys in August of 25.
That's not no. Anyway, all right. So losers. Who are the losers in this? Who are the losers outside of Drake? Who are the losers?
Oh my God!
Who are the losers in this Super Bowl? Drew, who's your loser? Give us your loser in the Super Bowl.
1 or 2?
Me too. 2 losers, real quick.
Okay. My biggest number 1 loser. It's hard to pick between Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. Which one's worse from a losing perspective? I guess I would say Andy Reid, just because it looked like the team just didn't even show up. Throughout, the defense showed up a little bit fogged, but still, Jaylen before that pick was dicing him. He was 8 for 8 until he threw that pick. I mean, he was hitting every soft spot that he could find in the coverage. But Andy Reid in its totality, it was just terrible. Terrible. I mean, we can go through everything,
Andy
dude.
Reid was playable?
I think Andy Reid for preparing this team was very inefficient. 12 first downs. I mean, we're talking 3 for 11 on third down. 49 total plays on offense compared to 70 to the Eagles. 275 on total yards. It's one of the worst. I mean, 49 rushing yards.
So my
11 on 11 attempts.
You can't compliment
the
Eagles defense and then shit on Andy Reid's preparation, because that takes away from what the Eagles defense did. It's an oxymoron to me.
How? But how? Because you saw guys that were not even wanting to play.
Both can be true.
That's not an oxymoron. That's literally me telling you what I saw from watching as a viewer of this game. And that's only just on the offensive side. I said the entire team. It looked terrible. I mean, they got worked on the ends on defense, if you want to talk about that. I told you guys the game was going to go from trenches. The Philly O-line destroyed the D-line of Kansas City. And the only thing that Kansas City did good from a defensive standpoint is keep Barkley below 60 yards. Other than that, there was no pressure on Jalen Hurts. Jalen did his thing.
There was pressure on Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts played aggressive football, and Jalen Hurts, for the first time, did something that he didn't do in the first Super Bowl, which we questioned why he wasn't doing it. He took off. He ran. He did things that we praised Patrick Mahomes for, that we praised Lamar Jackson for during the regular season, because he doesn't do it in the postseason. Jalen Hurts was extremely aggressive in this Super Bowl, and he balled out.
It's one of the things that we told him to do.
He balled. But again, that's not punish. That's not a lack of preparation on Andy Reid.
I think it is in totality when you look at the entire team stats. It was a lack of preparation.
The entire team stats and a lack of them performing well wasn't a lack of preparation. They just got beat by a better fucking football team. It's that simple. The talent was far better on the other side.
I'm not arguing that. That's not what I'm arguing, though. You're looking at it just one on a bird's eye view. I'm literally saying from all three phases of the game, they lost. They lost. So that's literally on him. They look unprepared.
I'll say this.
I don't know how that's like a hot thing to say. It's not. It's literally looked unprepared.
So Drew took one of my losers, because one of my losers was going to be Andy Reid. And because I felt like Andy Reid, and look, I literally just praised Andy Reid. All season I've been praising him about his adjustments and his just unbelievable play calling and like his route run combinations. I mean, everybody was praised. I did it last week. Drew was over here calling him the GOAT and all this other stuff. And like we were praising him. I was just so surprised that nothing changed when they came out of the second half. Like nothing changed. Like they didn't
halftime adjustments.
It's funny. They ran the ball at the first. They ran the ball the first play of the second half, and Pacheco picked up like 8. Right, and then they went away from it. Like they didn't run the football. Like it was very weird. No play action, nothing. It was like a lot of like, Mahomes, go do what you got to do, man. Like save us. Like it really kind of it was weird. It was really weird to see the Chiefs like that. Like I guess the word you got to use is unprepared. Like as far as like adjustments being made, because defensively, I think Kansas City was actually playing okay, but at some point when you can't stay on the field, like that's where Jalen Hurts becomes the winner, because Jalen Hurts is making plays, right? If Jalen Hurts isn't making plays like that, if they're not making plays, because Saquon was done. Saquon was not. He was not a factor. He was not a factor.
No,
but because Jalen
the running game wasn't a factor in that game.
No, because Jalen was making plays, it got the game out of hand. I honestly believe that if Jalen wasn't making plays, that game would have been closer, and then maybe Mahomes would have had a shot. But nothing was working. like Well, actually, I take it back. I think some things are working, but I agree with Drew. I agree with Drew. I'm with you on that with Andy Reid. Well, who's your loser? Oh, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
Before Flop, I'm not trying to argue. I don't want to like take away your moment, Flop, because I know that this is big for you. I'm happy for the Eagles fans winning. You're a savior for us. But I would say one of the biggest things that we highlighted all week last week was what, Brian? We talked about how your little thing that you were doing, comparing, right? The coaching staff was light years voted the best coaching staff compared to the Eagles.
That was the only.
The Eagles outcoached the coaching staff. From Sirianni, Kellen Moore called a great game, and Vic Fangio. Those are three guys I look at. So it's just another thing to say, dude. It's just
who's
congrats to the Eagles, man.
Second loser, real quick. Second loser.
The AFC.
Oh, wow.
The AFC because the Eagles did it right, and for some reason, why the AFC teams can't figure out how to beat the Chiefs when the Eagles are going to show you the fucking goddamn blueprint again. Tampa Bay showed you the blueprint, and now we have to remind you 4 years later or 3 years later, whatever the hell they won, that the Eagles are going to show you how you beat the Chiefs.
Can I interject real quick? You guys say yes or no. You don't have to. I want Fogg to go. I want Fogg to give his losers. I want to ask a question real quick. Is it fair to say or to assume, right, that the AFC is such a damn gauntlet to get through that by the time you get to the Super Bowl, you play the Eagles, who didn't really have to get through much to get there? Right? Is it fair to say that it's a harder path? Like the AFC, they beat each other up. I mean, the Chiefs, the Bengals, the Ravens, the Bills, the Chargers. I mean, there's so many. The Houston Texans. There are so many teams in the AFC. Who do you got in the NFC? Who do you have in the NFC for real?
I would say no.
Okay.
I would say no on the premise that New England had been able to do that for 2 decades.
For 2 decades.
They had gone through the gauntlet in the playoffs. Everybody said, "Oh, they easy in the
That's true.
AFC East." That's fine, but you still had to go through the Ravens. You still had to go through the Steelers. You still had to go through the Colts. You still had to go through the Chargers. All teams who won Super Bowls, went to multiple Super Bowls. So, yeah.
And it's funny. It's funny you said that. That's always been my argument towards people who are saying, "Oh, the Patriots played in a weak AFC East," which they did. That's true, but they still had to get to a pretty tough AFC, right?
Exactly.
So okay, I'll take that. All right, Paul, who are your losers?
I only have one loser, and it's Patrick Mahomes, and it's on a fucked up scale for me with Patrick Mahomes, because it's not that Patrick Mahomes isn't a great quarterback. It's the fact that people are going to turn around and the expectations of him and the thought process that he is this great quarterback and automatically was a top 3 and top 5 quarterback in history. Now that's all going to get shattered and thrown back, and it really now he shouldn't have been in that pedestal to begin with, because he still has so much of a career left. He's not, and for me, he's not even a top 10 quarterback of all time. If he retired today, I wouldn't rank him a top 10 quarterback of all time. I think that's idiotic.
See, wait. Go ahead, Paul. Go ahead.
Sorry. But to have him in the top 5, when you start spitting off quarterbacks and what they've done, and statistically what they've done,
easily top 5.
Mahomes, that's an idiotic statement.
No, it's not. Not at all.
It absolutely is.
Well, he's won 3 Super Bowl and has 3 Super Bowl MVPs. Come on, man.
Hey, Troy Aikman won 3 Super Bowls and has 2 Super Bowl.
But Troy Aikman doesn't have an All-Pro or MVP behind him like Patrick Mahomes does.
And Troy Aikman isn't even in the top 15 or 20 conversation. So please, Drew, we can discuss that another day. But Mahomes is the biggest loser because he also, to the point that Drew had made about him looking lost, you're the quarterback. You got to make the adjustments. You're the guy that's got to spot the pass rushes that were quote unquote coming and didn't come. Your audibles were off. Your whole game was off. And I want to say after the Cooper DeJean interception for a touchdown, and then they're 3 and out, it was the first time that I saw Patrick Mahomes and looked at him and said, wow, this guy's fucking rattled and he doesn't know what to do. And so for me, Mahomes is the biggest loser in this because he's taken an L in both the Super Bowl and looking pedestrian, and he's taken an L in the social media and the sports media rankings who had him in this fucking GOAT conversation with Tom Brady, which he doesn't even remotely belong in.
Yeah. Yeah, so
is this guy a Chiefs fan, or I don't get what he's saying?
No, he's not. I don't know who Kevin.
No.
I'm not sure who Kevin. Kevin's one of our great viewers.
I love Kev.
I'm not sure. Well, who does Kevin root for? I forget. Anyways, I know he hates Caleb Williams. Hates Caleb Williams. But anyways,
I think Kevin's a Jets fan.
He might be. He might. That's why he's so miserable. He might be. But I'll say this. I'll say this. Mahomes. We're gonna talk about Mahomes next. So he is he is a loser. Or he is a loser. Not a loser. He lost the game. He lost the game. But I will say, I do agree with what you said about the pedestal. I do think he's a top 5 quarterback of all time. I just don't think he is necessarily in the stratosphere of where Brady is just yet. I think he has such a long way to go. And I wish people would stop rushing to put him there. Like, I don't understand why we're such in a rush to make him the greatest of all time when he's 29 years old. Literally not even 30 yet. I don't understand what the rush is. I don't understand why people want to be right. I don't get it. I honestly feel like it's almost a ploy to set him up to fail. So when he doesn't win another Super Bowl, because it's very well possible that Patrick Mahomes may not win again. Like, I don't think people realize how hard it is to win in football, but it's possible. We didn't think Brady wouldn't win one for 10 years, and he did not win one for 10 years. Right? And
then, I caught hell when I said, you may never, when people were saying after Patrick Mahomes threw for 50 touchdowns, oh, this should be an expectation. I said, he may never do that again in his career.
He hasn't.
I caught hell for that.
He hasn't. Yeah, he hasn't.
Only 3 quarterbacks in NFL history did that. Brady, Manning, and Mahomes.
I'll say Mahomes is one of my losers right now. He's definitely a loser. But I would say one of the biggest loser for me, I was going to be Andy Reid, but Drew kind of took it from me. But I will say this. The biggest loser for me are the Chiefs skill players. Like, they were horrible. Like, it wasn't even the fact that they were outmanned. They just didn't show up. Like, it was one of those things where, like, Hopkins was dropping passes. That was good. And then P. Ryan dropped the pass. And then Kelsey was like, everybody was just off. I mean, Mahomes was off too. We'll get to that before a second. I think people don't realize that, yes, you can have your O-line can suck and your quarterback can have an off game as well. That's literally what happened. Mahomes was off. That's literally what I predicted, that he would throw 2 picks, that he was going to be off. And if you go back at Mahomes in Super Bowls, he's not super great. No. He's really not. His Super Bowl, he's not really, really great. Like, but I think the skill players, the guys, like, I mean, Xavier Worthy showed up, but he kind of came late to the party. Hopkins was awful. I mean, Kelsey, I don't know where the hell Kelsey. I honestly feel like Kelsey had 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I think he's actually done. I think he might come back, but I think he should just.
He needs to retire.
He needs to retire. I really feel like he had 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I really felt like he looked like a guy that, because when I saw that when I realized that somebody got in Kelsey's face and he did nothing. Usually, Travis Kelce is gonna get back in the
Jalen Carter.
Was it him? Was Jalen Carter, or was it Garner Johnson?
Yeah. It was well. First of all, it was Carter. Then it was Johnson. It was CJ.
Johnson got in his face and did something, and like Kelsey didn't even react to it.
No.
I'm like, oh man, this guy checked out.
He was defeated. He was defeated.
Yeah. clearly was defeated. So like I think the skill players of the Chiefs were just completely outmanned. But it was those are my biggest losers right there. But let's go to the second topic real quick. I wanted to ask this real quick because I feel like we were kind of touching on it a little bit. We got to touch on it a lot the first time. What's the bigger deal? Is it Jaylen winning his first Super Bowl MVP, or is Mahomes this blowout loss? What's the bigger deal to you, Fog? In this, like, what's going to be the bigger deal, like 5 years from now?
I think 5 years from now, I think the bigger deal will be Mahomes having a blowout loss.
Why is that?
Because, like you said, he may not return to this stage again in the next 5 years. And if he doesn't, this will be the topic of conversation. And if Jalen Hurts continues to perform well or fades to black, that's just even going to be a more of a black mark and a black spot on Patrick Mahomes. So I think the bigger deal would be Mahomes having this blowout loss.
Drew, what about you?
Jaden Daniels winning his first Super Bowl MVP, most definitely.
Jaden
Hurts. From 5 years from now, I mean, that's going to be something that people are on the back because we can easily say, oh, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, all these cats that play in the AFC, CJ Stroud, haven't been able to do what I did, and that's beat Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl, win a Super Bowl MVP with all my critics saying that I couldn't pass, being able to perform at the highest stage, not once but twice, and be super productive in both games. And basically for me, it's just, like I said earlier, just quieting the critics because he's a winner and he's a leader. And you saw, and a good thing that the Eagles have going on for them is that they're so freaking young. So it's going to be a future that we're going to be seeing, and this could easily be a benchmark for Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles for years to come to be a staple point in the NFC. So I think this is huge for Hurts.
I think this is huge for Hurts as well. I tend to agree with that, but I think this blowout loss could hurt Mahomes a little more than we think, just based off of how people just are. Like, just based off narratives and just based off how people just swing, the pendulum swings. Like, if Mahomes doesn't win 5 years from now, this is something that people are going to hold over his head for years, right? Literally, this is one of the things that I've always said that separated Manning from Brady, because I've never seen Brady suffer a loss like this in the Super Bowl. And we've seen him lose 3 times in the Super Bowl, right? Manning got his ass kicked against the City. Now, granted, it was one of the greatest defenses we've ever seen in the Legion of Boom, but 43-8 in the Super Bowl is insane, right? This was really bad. Look, I ain't about to sit here and talk about the Eagles being one of the greatest defenses of all time. This is one of the better performances we've ever seen, but I'm not going to sit here and act like this is one of the greatest defenses we've ever seen, because it's not, right? It's just, it's not. Okay. Mahomes just played poorly. He just did. Like, and the loss, I think, is really going to stick with him for some time until he gets to another Super Bowl and wins it. I really believe. Look, I understand how the tide turns against guys. Like, this is the last game that we've seen Mahomes in, and look, people are going to hold this against him. I really feel like the bigger deal is this blowout. Like, if it was a last-second field goal and they lost, I'd be like, okay, well, it happens, right? Like, that happens all the time. If it was like a blocked field goal or a last-second touchdown, it was a shootout, I don't think people would hold this loss on Mahomes as much. But because I understand how just people are, I understand how humans behave as time moves forward, because this is why I said why crown him so early, because if he's 34 years old and he hasn't made a Super Bowl again, and this is his last Super Bowl, I promise you the narrative will change. I can put my house on it, right? His narrative is gonna be different, right? But I think this is a big loss for Mahomes, so I think he's gonna be more desperate to get back. Because at the end of the day, Jalen Hurts won a Super Bowl, MVP. No one expected it. All Jalen needs to really do is just continue this trajectory. And he may be in the Hall of Fame. Honestly, he may be on his way. He's already the greatest Eagles quarterback of all time, right? He's already getting a statue, right? He's gonna get a statue. We already know that. So yeah, I think this loss. I think this loss means more, or this bigger deal than Mahomes' loss.
I want to push back a little bit on that narrative because this team wasn't even supposed to be in the Super Bowl. That's why I said this is a big loss in the AFC. The fact that you guys couldn't figure it out and beat a team that had really no offensive superstars and no big-time factors at all in the running back position.
They weren't supposed to be in the Super Bowl. They were projected all season, before the season and during the season.
We're talking about one or two. We're talking about 5 or 6 games. He easily could have had losses.
You're absolutely right.
But what?
Drew, the overall consensus was Chiefs are the team to beat, and they're continuing to win. The reason Josh Allen got the MVP is because the Bills weren't supposed to be shit, and the Bills did something. The Chiefs have always been the class of the AFC at the start of this season and throughout the entirety of the season.
Of course they are, because they're the defending champs.
The narrative was they're overcoming these things because they're the class of the AFC.
Right. So, once again, I'm going back to my point. This game, yes, it's a blowout, but I think this game isn't as impactful as a blowout as it was against the Tampa Bay Bucks. I mean, his offense
was not, or was, I'm sorry.
Was not as impactful?
No, I thought the Tampa Bay game was more impactful because he had more big-time players on his offensive side with the Tyreek Hill. In the defense, you could make the argument that they were also on the same level playing as this defense now because of them being able to show up hot in the postseason when they want to play good defense. They always seem to show up always during the postseason when they need to the most. So I can easily make that argument that the Tampa Bay game was more impactful than this game. Because all across the board, we saw it on your voting and we saw it nationwide. This team was talent from top to bottom. And a lot of people expected this either be a close game or be a blowout. And is it daunting? Yeah, it's completely daunting to see Mahomes play the way he did. But this isn't the first time we've seen him play like this. He's played like this before against Tampa Bay. So it's hard for me just to go and leap and say this is going to affect him for the next 5 years. Every loss is going to affect you in the Super Bowl, regardless if it's 1 point or 30. But it's still for me looking at this entirety. That's why I think it's more impactful for Jalen Hurts because everything that's surrounding him, controversy-wise, and moving forward in his life as a quarterback.
From a football analytics standpoint, Drew, I applaud you. But that's not what the narrative is going to be. Because you know what the narrative is with Tampa Bay? He lost to Brady. The same way the narrative is Eli Manning beat Brady.
So when we say lose to Brady, well, no, that's a stupid narrative because he's not playing. He's not playing against Brady. He got outplayed by Brady. Bulls worked his ass.
Let me say this real quick.
I agree, Drew, but what I'm saying is what you're saying is logical, but it is not going to be what the social consensus is when they view this. That's exactly what we're talking about here. We're not talking about think.
So you're talking about illiterate sports talk is what we're talking about then.
No, we're talking about 80% of society.
Wait. I'm talking about Drew. I'm talking about the same illiterate sports people who are saying that Mahomes is the GOAT or he's already in that realm of the GOAT.
But we all know that's stupid talk though.
But hold up. I've heard you say it.
You just put him in you had put him in the top 3.
Yeah, he still is, even after this loss. Who are you putting above him? I got him, Joe Montana. I got Brady, Montana, and Mahomes.
I don't want to get into that.
Easily.
That's a conversation I want to get into.
Easily. Who are you putting above him, Fogg?
Johnny Unitas, Peyton Manning.
There's no way Peyton could. How can you put Peyton above him when he's done everything that Peyton wished he could have done in the postseason? He's won without stars on the offensive side. Like what he did last year was remarkable. So Peyton Manning could never even touch his jockstrap when it comes to the postseason. When it comes to postseason,
I think we're okay. Let me. I'm gonna step back and I'm gonna step back real quick and I'm gonna get to what you're saying, Drew.
Y'all are making me a Paxton Mahomes defender, and I hate it. I'm a Charger fan.
I'm gonna say this. I think one thing I do disagree with. I push back on this. I think this loss is more impactful than the Tampa Bay loss for a couple of reasons. One, that was a COVID year, I believe, and two, that was the year where Mahomes literally had like 3 starters off the offensive line. It was weird, right? Then he had his whole left side gone. Crazy.
The one guard was a COVID doctor, and he had to go to Canada or something like that.
Well, I mean, he lost 3. I know. Whatever the reason, he didn't have his line. Like, I don't know what it was. I didn't look back. He had like 3 starters that were not there. This game, he had all his guys, right? And I think this game is a little. I don't. That loss to Brady. I always try to put a little bit of asterisk to it because I feel like it was that reason. He didn't have his guys. He lost like 3 stars. He had no time. Like I bet this game he had time. He just was off. He didn't play well.
Yep.
They literally just did not. It's very weird that people can't just say, "Yo, I know that the offensive line wasn't great. I know the Eagles' deep front 4 was just pretty much bullying and mauling for most of the game, the Chiefs." But I feel like the first half, he had time. He was just off. I think this game is a little more impactful, in my opinion. That's why I say this is a bigger deal, bigger blowout loss for him, even though it's his second blowout Super Bowl. But this is I feel like this one's more impactful because he had his guys. I think that Buccaneers team was a little better than this Eagles team, in my opinion, my personal opinion. I think that Bucs team was a little better than this Eagles team, but whatever. I think that this loss is a little more
really.
Huh?
You really think that Bucs team is better than this Eagles team?
Overall, I do.
Oh wow! Overall, I don't see that.
That Bucs team was really good. They were. But
Eagles all line.
I will say that Chiefs team was just very depleted, right? So like on the offensive line. So maybe I'm skewed there, but yeah, I think this loss is gonna. I think what Fogg and I are saying is that I think that you're missing is that it's not really illiterate sports fans. I think it's real. I think that it kind of brings my point home where I say crowning Mahomes this early in his career is a mistake. Because putting him in your top 3 at this point in his career is a mistake because what if he doesn't win again? There were guys who were putting
still my top 3. He's still my top 3.
If he never wins again,
still my top 3.
Okay. I wonder.
People have Manning in their top 5. People have Drew Brees in their top 5. People have Peyton Manning in their top 5, which it's all fair. It's fine. But
the careers have finished, and I make this point real quick before we move on. Because the careers have finished, and I distinctively remember people trying to put Aaron Rodgers in their top 5 or in their top 10 GOAT when he won his first Super Bowl in 2010. He's never won one again. And now what are people doing? He's not really in my top 5 now. I'm in top 6, top 7, top 8. Oh, wait a minute. You were the same guy that was saying he could be the GOAT like 10 years ago. Now he hasn't won one. Now he ain't the GOAT anymore. like this is what I'm saying. Like
Well, I get that part I get what you're saying on that part, and I think for some people like myself, I reserved that spot until I waited until what he's been able to do since 2018. I mean, that's almost 10 years in the league. So it's at the point now where it's like, okay, if Patrick Mahomes announces tomorrow that I'm retiring, he's a Hall of Famer. Easily.
No one's saying.
I know that, but I'm getting to my point. If we're saying he's a Hall of Famer because we know he can retire right now and be a Hall of Fame, then there's nothing wrong for us saying, oh, I think he's top 5 or top 3 because of his skills and what he's been able to do performing with the ball, what he's been able to do performing without top wide receivers on the outside of him. He's been able to make this team and elevate this team to standards that we never thought that they could once they lost Tyreek Hill. It's a lot of things that go into my reasoning of why I put him at 3 for me. So that's just me.
Fair enough. I guess one question, yes or no? One question, we'll move on. Does longevity matter?
Yeah. For quarterbacks? For quarterbacks?
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. It plays a part.
So if he plays, as long as Brady plays, which is very possible, right? And he doesn't win
23 years.
Huh?
23 years? 24 years, or the case may be?
20 years. If he plays another 14 years, which is very possible, he's a quarterback, right?
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't win again. You're still how many top 3? Okay.
Top 5, probably. Top 5, top 3.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, he will definitely be in my.
Do you understand how stupid that sounds? He's top 3 right now, but then he would be top 5 if he doesn't win again.
No other
statistics that he would accumulate would be probably insanity.
So, do we care more about passing yards and passing touchdowns and being in the top and being in that static category, or do we care about what he's doing in the postseason because he's already number 2 quarterback wise, stat wise?
No, we care about the efficiencies during the regular season.
No, we don't care about any of that. We don't care about the number. We care about Super Bowls. That's the measurement. I don't care what anybody says.
Well, he's got 3.
Wait, hold up. Time out. He has 3 Super Bowls, right?
Mm-hmm.
Brady wasn't considered a GOAT until he won 5, maybe 6.
Yeah, until he won the Atlanta game.
I don't even think that. I think people were still reserved on that until he won it 6. It wasn't even until he won 7 until somebody said, all right.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
No, consensusly,
there were hella arguments against that.
It wasn't until he won 7. Hold up, time out. Because remember.
Go ahead.
People were saying, can he win without Belichick? Can he win without the Brady's the Patriot way? He goes to
of course. You're gonna bring that narrative up.
I'm out. All I'm saying is it wasn't until he moved teams and won 7 at 43 until consensusly most were saying, all right, Brady's got it.
And yet now we're the hatred for him is so much so that we're willing to crown Patrick Mahomes
at
or
29.
put Patrick Mahomes in the GOAT conversation.
Brady,
that is so idiotic.
Hold up. Watch this. I'm gonna move on for this. Watch this. When Brady won 3, his 3rd in 2004, was he in your top 5?
No.
All right.
No.
All right.
I was also only like 18 years old though.
Okay.
Or 17, 16.
You can go back and look.
No, what I'm saying, but here's the difference between him and Mahomes though. The difference is in those 3 Super Bowls to his to Brady's, he had everything that Brady never had. He has the stats. He had the MVPs. He has everything that Brady didn't get till later down, like from 2007 and on. So it's hard to compare those 2 because if we're comparing those 2 the first 5 or 6 years,
not really, because guess what? Patrick Mahomes had a receiver who was a top 5 receiver statistically during that time. He had a tight end.
About to say that
he had a tight end who is going into the Hall of Fame and will probably go down as one of the 10 greatest Hall of Fame tight ends, 10 greatest tight ends of all time, maybe top 5 for who it is. Brady didn't have that in his first 3 Super Bowls. So
no, he didn't. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. Brady didn't have to do much when you had a really solid head coach that's arguably the greatest head coach of all time and a really good defense every year on year out. I mean, we can play this game, the tit for tat game. Obviously, we're going to see what's going to happen as the years go by. But what he's been able to do, I compared
on the offense.
I compared. The reason I brought up Dan Marino, Drew Brees, and all these cats, which I have high regards for those 2 dudes, but the fact that they didn't show up for postseason play, and this guy has already done what they wish they could have done. It's a difference maker. It's a difference maker for me.
Understood. I get it. The postseason play is great. I feel like
Foggy, if you just want to cuddle, let's cuddle. It's fine. We can cuddle, dude.
What I'm hearing is that I feel like we're kind of downplaying the nucleus that Mahomes came into a little bit, right? As for I feel like I feel like it's like you're saying that Mahomes came into a terrible situation and he comes in and things. No. That's what I'm hearing. Maybe not terrible, but like a situation that was like maybe a little unfavorable, even though he was coming into a team that did have Tyreek Hill, had Travis Kelce, already had a great coach in Andy Reid, solid coach in Andy Reid. Defense was right. Defense wasn't there yet, but it did catch up, right? It did catch up, and after the defense caught up, they started winning Super Bowls, kind of similar to what Brady was happening. So it's interesting. It's interesting how the goalpost kind of moves a little bit, but Super Bowl's over. All right, season's in the books. 2025 off season. We all know the NFL calendar is 24/7, 365. So let's get right to the off season. Let's play some factor cap really quickly. Some rapid fire here. Some factor cap here. Off season moves. We got some big off season moves, some popular ones, some things that are getting hot right now. I got 4 for you guys real quick. All right. Right. First one, facts or cap. Aaron Rodgers is in Vegas next year. Go ahead, Fog. Real quick, facts or cap?
Cap.
Any reasoning real quick?
I don't think Aaron Rodgers cares about football anymore. Oh. That's my reasoning.
So you think he's retired?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't feel that. Okay. Drew, I still feel it. I don't feel it.
Cap, he's going to get stuck doing an Oscar in some country and not be able to come back. Cap. I'm done with Aaron Rodgers. I want him to go.
I'm actually going to say fact. I think the only reason why I say fact is because the Raiders literally don't have a quarterback. I don't think they like any of these quarterbacks coming into the draft. I don't, right? And I think Rodgers actually either lives in Vegas or he's from the Bay. But
he does?
I think he lives. I think so. He's
either lives in the Bay.
Huh?
I thought he lived in the Bay.
He might. I'm saying he's either in the Bay or he lives in Vegas.
Okay. I got you.
West Coast somewhere. He's in the West Coast. So I think that'll be his last stop. He grew up a Raiders fan. You know, Pete Carroll played against him at USC, so like they know each other.
He grew up a Niners fan, I thought.
Did he? You're right.
Yeah, he's a big time Niners guy.
You're right. That's my fault. That's my mistake. Yeah. So, but he is from the Bay, so I think that kind of tells me he's going to Vegas next year. All right, facts or cap? Micah Parsons will take 0 snaps in Dallas.
Oh, that's a good one.
Obviously, the news came out that Micah may be on the move, but we all know Dallas just likes headlines. It's like our guy in office. So, facts or cap? Drew, Micah Parsons will take 0 snaps in Dallas next year.
Brian, this is a good one. I'm gonna say facts.
Woo!
Facts.
Who's out?
I think so. I how are they gonna afford him? It's just you have so much money tied up with Lamb and Dak. It's just like, how are you going to be able to do it? I don't. Jerry's already tight with his penny as it is, dude. I don't know how he's gonna.
Yep. Yeah.
I'm gonna say fact. I don't know where he's gonna go to though. I have no idea.
I don't think Micah doesn't really seem like a guy that's gonna take a discount. But
No.
Paul, who do you got? Facts or Cat?
Fuck. I want to say facts so bad. Like,
I don't want to face it twice a year
because Dallas is in salary cap hell right now.
They are, dude. They're so bad.
Oh,
they should never sign Dak.
Honestly, I'm gonna go Cap. I think Jerry Jones is gonna find a way to fuck Dallas even more before he dies. So I'm going Cap on this one.
The only way he can do that is you think he's going to pay Miles somehow, some way. He's going to pay Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett wants to get paid. He's not. I don't think Myles Garrett's touching the field unless he's paid.
Where's Myles? You mean Michael Parsons?
I mean Michael Parsons. So sorry, Michael Parsons.
I was like, what subject are we on?
Sorry.
What inside information did you get that Garrett's going to Dallas?
What was it?
My bad.
They trade for Miles and they don't pay.
No, I think he'll find a way to manipulate the salary cap and promise Parsons guaranteed money that will fuck Dallas even more for the future. I'm telling you, this is what this man does.
You can't. To tie up your future with three guys is insane.
I'm gonna say Cap. I'm gonna say Cap because I do think they're gonna bring back Miles. I mean Micah. Good Lord.
If Brian and Fogg, we talked about all the time about game winning drive, man. If you're the Cowboys, you could easily traded for Lamb and Micah and build your future up.
Yeah, we're not
easily.
No one's saying you're wrong. We're not talking about a competent franchise.
Insane. This is insane. I don't get it.
About the Philadelphia Eagles here, or a competent franchise, right?
Because how it gets it.
This is a very deranged man. Okay. Okay. That's what Dallas fans are dealing with right here. A very deranged human in Dallas.
Yeah, you're gonna say Cap?
Yep, I'm gonna say Cap.
Fogg, what did Philly trade for AJ Brown again?
I don't know. Bag of Doritos. They didn't.
It was nothing. It was nothing crazy, right?
No.
Second round.
Was it a second round? I thought it was a third or fourth round pick.
I'm guessing.
Traded.
Whatever.
All right, here we go. Factor Cap. Next one. Near and dear to my heart. Factor Cap. Russell Wilson will be a starter next year.
Fact.
Ooh,
with the Las Vegas Raiders.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
Oh, you think it reconcile with Carroll?
Reunion with Carroll.
Reconcile with Pete? Okay. It was a bad breakup.
It was
a messy breakup. That's gonna be a tough one to kind of reconcile. But
I'm gonna say fact, just because there's a lot of teams that are going to be in transition with quarterbacks, and you're going to need a guy that's going to be that stopgap quarterback. So I'll say fact with this one.
Yeah,
where he goes, I don't know, but
I'm going to say fact with this one. But I have three teams in mind where he may go to be that stopgap quarterback. Three teams in mind. I think he'll stay in Pittsburgh, but he will back up Justin Fields. Okay. Right? He'll go to Vegas. That was my second choice. Or he goes to the New York Giants. That was my third choice.
Ooh.
Giants. And the New York Giants. Because look, New York Giants, the New York guy, like Sierra lives there, something like that. I think Sierra lives there now, actually. He doesn't got to move far. It's a big city. It's 1 year. He'll get your what's the guy's name? Malik Neighbors will be happy as a quarterback and throw him some passes, right? It's literally something that they can just kind of just do and have Russ just kind of manage the quarterback situation for a year. And then next year, when Arch Manning is out or whoever they want to get, they'll finish they'll finish, I don't know, 6-10 or whatever, 6-11, and they'll be fine. So yeah.
Oh,
all right.
You talking about the Giants? You talking about the Giants?
Giants, yeah.
Oh, they're going to go Sanders this year. You know that. Everyone's Sheduer.
Well, let's speak of Sheduer. Facts are cap. Sheduer Sanders falls. Sheduer Sanders falls out of the top. That was beautiful. That was beautiful.
I had no idea.
It was great.
Paul, go ahead. No, go ahead, Drew. Whoever.
No, go ahead, fuck.
I'm going to say cap because this is what the NFL does. They reach for quarterbacks. And this year, they're going to reach. If Sheduer or Cam Ward were in last year's draft, we'd be talking about them getting drafted in the second or third round.
1,000%.
So, no, I don't see him falling out of the top 20. I see him getting drafted. He might get drafted later than people expect, but I still think he goes in the top 10.
Okay, Drew?
It should be fact. It should be. It should be fact. Cap. He both him and what did you say, Fogg? Him and Hart?
Yeah,
Ward. Ward, I'm sorry. Ward. There's also a third guy. I haven't really done much research. He's really rising up in the ranks for
Don't say it.
What's his name? Yeah. What's his name? Jackson what?
Dart.
Yeah, Dart. Yeah. I've been seeing a lot of like mock drafts where he's going to late first. But yeah, it's gonna be it's cap. He's gonna be in the top 10, top 5.
You know what's funny about Jackson Dart, right? If I would have asked the question, facts or cap, is Jackson Dart get drafted before Sheduer? I'll say fact. Because I think for whatever reason, they want Jackson Dart to be good, but whatever. Just like they really wanted what's that guy? What's that lame guy's name in Kentucky? Who in Kentucky? What's his name? He's in Tennessee now.
Oh, Will Levis.
God, they wanted him to be good so bad. They were dying for him to be good, dying for it. And now look at him. Now, okay. Jackson Dart's going to be that guy. Right? He's going to be that guy who they want to be good so bad. And he's just going to get drafted by a team, and they're going to know that, okay, he's not very good. I think Sheduer falls out of the top 20. I think this is fact, not because of his ability, because of how much control I actually believe Deion Sanders is going to have where his son goes. I think
I don't understand this. What's he gonna do?
He's gonna tell teams not to draft his son, and he's not
okay. And they draft him. What's going to happen? He's ruining his son's career.
Sit out a year. It's a very valid.
But hold on, they have his rights. If he don't play, then he have his rights every year.
You're wasting a first-round pick. Why would you do that?
Well, yeah, it's exactly why Eli Manning was able to go to the Giants and not to the Chargers.
First-round pick on a guy.
You forced a trade, yeah.
Yeah, why would you do that? Yeah. So what's going to happen is
because no one want to trade for Sheduer Sanders. There's a difference there.
No, what's
there's a difference.
Look, Deion knows the NFL more than anybody.
I agree.
He's going to a team that is already established. He's not going to a trash team. Sheduer Sanders is not going to a trash team. He's going to a team in the back half of it. Look, if Sheduer fell in our laps at 20 or 21, wherever we are, if we dropped him, I will be totally good with that.
That's good value.
But we're not going to get him. But we got Justin Fields. We're not going to get him. But he's Sheduer in the top 20. It's great value, especially if a team that's already established, right? If he sits behind a veteran, I don't know the draft orders right now, but somebody's going to say they're either going to draft or trade back to get him, or somebody's going to come up and get him. So I could be wrong, or it could be a team that really likes him and they say, I go and get him, or he's just going to fall back until they get to the team that really wants him. Honestly, like Indianapolis, I can see him going there, or I can see him going to another back half team. Like, I don't know. I can't think of a team who needs a quarterback who's the back half. I can think of one now, but I think he's
Seattle.
Seattle, beautiful. Thank you, Seattle. That's a team that he can fall to. Great franchise.
He should just go to Miami. He should go.
He could go to Miami. He could go to Miami. I think that's obviously a place. Warm weather. Like Deion said, he wants his kids to play in warm weather. Sheduer Sanders is falling. I think it's fact because I do believe that Sheduer or Deion's going to have so much control. Wherever Sheduer Sanders lands, whatever he lands, that's where they want him to be.
So here's my issue with this. So you guys believe that, which I understand where you're coming from. Then why not do that for Travis? Because he's not his son.
No,
that's his guy.
Well, I think no.
He could do the same thing he does for Sheduer. Do the same thing for Travis.
He could, but I think quarterback is more of a situation where you have to go to a good place to be successful.
Yeah,
Travis Hunter could be a Pro Bowler anywhere.
Yeah,
right. He's gonna be a Pro Bowler wherever he goes. New England, wherever the first round pick, Browns, whatever. Hoping it's God forbid he goes to the Browns, but he could be because I don't want to face him. I don't want to face Travis twice a year. I really don't. And I don't want to have to root for him twice a year or root against him twice a year.
Pick your poison, Tennessee or Cleveland. They're both morbid places that I would never want to go to.
But the point is, to answer your question, he's going to be a Pro Bowler there. He's going
to that's a good point.
That's why it doesn't matter for Travis. Quarterback wise, like you have to go to a good spot. So that's why I like Seattle a lot. I like Seattle. All right. So last one, real quick. Last one. Facts. Let me say it real quick.
The Eagles won. Facts. We did that.
No, I know we did that. It's not coming up though. My last one. Oh, there we go. All right. So I have a method for this question. I'll explain in a minute. But facts or cap? This is why I kept saying Myles Garrett. Facts or cap? Myles Garrett makes it to the Super Bowl next year.
We don't know what team he's going to be on.
He wants to go to a contender. Like so, wherever he goes, he's going to be a contender.
Cap, just on the sheer odds of him going to a Super Bowl team, we ourselves could probably rattle off 7 or 8 teams that could potentially make the Super Bowl. So yeah, I'm going Cap. What the fuck?
No. Kevin's right. Like EJ was a first round pick. We forget. We forget.
This full run of EJ Manuel. Oh my God.
2013 quarterback class with EJ and Gino.
Oh my Lord.
With Mr. Trubisky.
What the hell?
Oh my God. Yeah, that's a good point. Sheduer was going first round.
That Kevin Oliver,
Manuel, first round pick.
Kevin Oliver, you are my MVP for that. I love you. That was beautiful.
I'll never forget Buffalo's fans' faces when they selected him.
And the irony of what wasn't he like the 18th or 19th pick in the draft?
19th, yeah, 18, 19. Yeah.
And the irony was the Buffalo traded up to get him.
Yeah. Because there was no quarterback picked in the top 10. He was the first quarterback in the draft.
Awful. That class.
He was the first.
That class was with Gino?
Yes, because Geno Smith went to the draft and the cameras and everything was focused on him because he was like, oh, I didn't get picked in the first round. I came here for no reason.
Yeah.
What class? What other quarterbacks was in that class? Was it him and Gino? Who else?
It was bad. I'll go back and
was it 2013?
Yeah, 2013.
But it speaks to Fogg's point about teams reach quarterbacks.
Yes,
I gotta see this crap.
But go ahead.
Cap on Myles Garrett. I don't really see it. The team that comes to my mind is the Commanders, but I still don't think that's enough for him to be a contender to make it to the Super Bowl.
One of the reasons why I say Cap is because I think he's going to be a motivated superstar who's never been in this situation. So I think he could have I think he could have possibly like a Saquon Barkley type of year on the defensive side of the ball, wherever he goes.
Oh my God.
And I think that wherever he goes, whatever contender he goes to, he's going to make that defense substantially better. Like I see him going to the Lions, possibly, and pairing him with Aiden Hutchinson. Commanders are a good one as well. The only thing with Miles is you have to trade for him. He's not a free agent, so you got to lose some pieces. You have to lose some pieces to get him. So that's the only downside for Myles Garrett. That wherever he goes, they make it a little worse because of him.
What a shitty class!
It was a bad cut. 2013 was horrible.
EJ Manuel was the only quarterback picked in that first round.
Yeah,
yes,
and then it was Gino, and it was somebody.
My
it was
God.
Gino, and maybe somebody else. I don't know. It was bad. 2013 was bad, and EJ Manuel was not. No,
they traded for him.
He was good at Florida State, but he wasn't first round good. But yeah, Florida State. That was around a time where Florida State was like it was great fool's gold for quarterbacks. Like we fooled some people. We made people think that EJ Manuel was good. We made people think that Christian Ponder was good. He was the first round pick, which is crazy.
Christian Ponder.
Wasn't
my God.
I think
Matt Barkley from USC in there too?
I think so.
No. Mike Glennon was in here.
That's so bad.
Oh, I know Mike Glennon. He was there.
I think Matt Barkley.
Matt Barkley.
Yep, Matt Barkley. Yep. Matt Barkley was the fourth round to the Eagles.
Fourth round to the Eagles. Yep.
Fourth round to the Eagles.
And he was
that quarterback class is trash. Oh my God.
It's crazy about Matt Barkley. He was supposed to be the number 1 overall pick.
He was.
He was my number 1 overall pick. All right, real quick, last question.
The worst draft class.
Last one before we go. Just gotta sum up the offseason. I know we're all excited. The draft, trades, free agency, the whole nine. Ask you guys this question. What is one move you would like to see your team make this offseason that will make your team closer to winning it all? Fog, in your case, win it again, back to back.
Woo!
One move. What's that one move?
Getting another running back.
Oh, wow. For the Eagles?
Yes.
So pairing him with Barkley.
Think about it. Barkley, once again, like every other running back, had the most carries. Most usage. And what do we see when a running back has the usage that Barkley had the next season? An injury occurs. And this guy is an injury-prone running back. My biggest concern when the Eagles traded for him
was
injury. I think you need a running back that is going to be able to spell him, but still be able to at least remotely compensate for what he can do on the football field.
We could Najee Harris would be a free agent if you're looking for a running back.
I'll take someone in the draft.
I'm just saying, Najee's going to be available. But I like that. I like that too. I like that too. I think, and you know what's interesting? I thought about this yesterday. I somewhat believe that Barkley wasn't 100% yesterday.
No,
because he hurt his calf against the Commanders.
He kept shaking his calf. Yeah,
strained it. Yeah, and calf strains. I don't care how much. It's rest. You can't.
When he slipped in the second quarter.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
There was no reason for him to slip and fall the way
nobody was slipping.
No, he just when he planted his foot, it was one of those. I've been there. You plant your foot, you're hurt, and you feel weak, and you're not able to plant as strong as you want to. That's what happens.
I got a good one for you. One that would compliment Barkley a lot. Aaron Jones. Pass catching threat. Can still run in between.
Is he a free agent?
He's a free agent.
Yeah, he is a free agent. He is.
Him, Nick Chubb, Javonte Williams. You got some dogs.
I would take Javonte Williams.
I would say I like
pass catching threat. Pass catching threat.
And as aggressive as he is as a runner, he would be fantastic between the tackles. And you don't got to give him the ball 100 times. Oh. You're just using him to spell Barkley. So instead of Barkley getting 27 to 30 touches in a game, he's getting 20 to 25. Yeah. And you're letting someone like Javonte Williams, and hey, there'll be games where Javonte Williams or whatever running back comes in is able to do a 50-50 with Barkley. And even though Barkley won't have the statistical season, he'll still have the impactful season. And that's what you want to go into the playoffs.
I agree. My one move for my Chargers would be not a signing, because I am still hesitant on giving the reports that are coming out that T. Higgins is looking from 30 to 35 AAV. That's just too much. That's too much for me. I don't think. I also don't think Cincinnati is going to re-sign him back, because they still got to sign Jamar.
No. They could.
With that being said, there's a couple years left on this guy that I think has a lot of links last season. I think it's again happening again this year. I wouldn't mind if the Chargers trade for DK Metcalf. It complements Ladd. It puts Ladd where he needs to go. And I think he's that type of receiver that is still to break away and take away the cover twos and all that stuff. The problem with him, though, that probably is kind of crazy when I was looking deep down into what his playing style is. You know that he's not a big-time 50-50 ball guy?
Who's that?
I thought he was. DK.
No, he's not.
He's not a 50-50 guy. He's not a jumper.
No.
I thought he was, man, and he's not. That was a little crazy to me, but I would make that trade, Brian and Fogg, because we need receiving help desperately. There's some guards and there's some centers out there, but all I see is guys that are 32 and a half and older. So I really don't want to invest that much money into them. I'd rather take the trade for DK and look for a tight end and hopefully and pray to God. I mean, perfect world would be to have what's that boy's name from Penn State to drop. I don't think it's going to happen, but is that who's the best tight end right now in the draft?
Oh, the tight end. Oh, okay. I'll look his name up. Yeah, he's good. No. He's not going to drop, bro. He's not going to drop.
Yeah, he's not going to drop. There's him and a guy named Loveland that everyone keeps talking about. But for the Chargers, they're linking to the Chargers to Loveland because he's like the late first round, I guess. But that's me, man. I think we need a receiver. We need to help Herbert help that offensive skill players get more separation with Ladd. So that's a dream. It's a dream.
Oh, man.
It's a dream.
It's a dream.
I got to screw myself with this question because we have so many things we could do that we need to do. But I think the one move we need to make, honestly, to get us a step closer to the Super Bowl is it's not a signing. Like you said, it's not a signing. It's more of getting rid of somebody. It's really moving on from Russell Wilson and just starting with Justin Fields and just starting from the gate. No controversy. You can bring another quarterback, but let Justin Fields know that he's the guy. Let him work with Arthur Smith all year or all summer, right? All year, summer. Let him get the reps. Let's develop him, because I feel like if we can develop him and if he can get to where at the very least Russ was, then we could be really, really, really good team, really dynamic team. But that's gonna be on Justin Fields and Arthur Smith. So that's the move. I was gonna say Najee, but we're gonna get rid of Najee anyway. He's out here. He's gonna be gone.
Is he out? He's not gonna get re-signed?
No, we're not gonna resign.
No.
He's unhappy.
So that means what's the name's gonna be RB1?
Jaylen Warren. I don't think he's gonna be RB1. He's not big enough, and he's not big enough, and he doesn't protect the football enough to do that. He fumbles. He's a fumbler. He'll put the ball. So we're gonna draft. Probably gonna draft a running back. We're probably gonna draft or sign one of those guys you mentioned that are available again. I like it's crazy because I said to myself, I like Javonte Williams when he came out of North Carolina better than Najee Harris. I wanted Javonte Williams, and I was telling D Hill before Javonte Williams got hurt, he was on his way to being
my God,
running backs in the league. He got hurt.
Oh my God.
towards ACL, and he's taking some time to get back. I think this year he looked like himself. Last year he wasn't himself. But before he got hurt, he almost had 1,000 yards and had like 8 or 9 touchdowns as a rookie.
Oh, he was on fire.
He was a stud. That's who I wanted as a running back. So if we can get him, possibly, that'd be great. That'd be freaking phenomenal if we can get him.
Either that or you'll draft Donovan Edwards or Trey Henderson.
Henderson has grown on me. He's been at Ohio State forever, but he's grown on me. I'm not sure. I don't like running backs who've been at their schools. He's been there for 5 years, so he's already got some tread on him. He's kind of injury prone as well. It's the reason why he's been there for so long. Donovan Edwards is okay as well. He's okay. I mean, it's not a bad back class. Look, if Gentry falls into a lap at 20, which is honestly very possible. It's very possible.
I was going to say, I think Gentry is going to be the biggest interesting piece in the draft because I don't know where he's going to go.
It's weird. He could go anywhere between top 5 and
he could
20.
He could.
Yep.
It just depends on who likes him. It depends on who loves him.
Harbaugh would take him.
That'd be great. That would be a phenomenal grab. If you guys get him at 20 in the 20s, if he falls into the lap, you got to take him. You got to take him. Absolutely, no question about it.
I do want to say a bold statement, and I do think this is going to happen. I think Matt Stafford's going to get traded.
Really?
And I do, and I really believe. I think he's going to end up on the Giants.
Wow.
And then Sean McVay is going to go and sign old boy from the Vikings, Sam Darnold.
Darnold, really?
Whoa!
Wow. I think Darnold's going to end with the ties that Sean McVay has with Kevin O'Connell. And basically the same offense that Sean runs. Dalton's going to love that, or Darnold's going to love that, and fall in love with LA. I would see it happen.
I would believe that more if Stafford just retired. I don't know why Stafford would even say, no, F that. I'm not going to the Giants. You're not going to trade me to football purgatory at this stage of my career. I can't even see Stafford doing that after he spent half his career in football purgatory.
Yeah.
In Detroit. I can't see him at his big age
going to the Giants. If he's not going to a team to win, he's calling it quits.
Calling it quits. Yeah, I think he's calling it quits. But Sam Darnold is going to be interesting.
Most interesting free agent.
He's the most interesting free agent. I think they should sign him. The Vikings.
Him and Kirk.
But again, JJ McCarthy's one of those guys they want to be good real bad.
Mm-hmm. You also got. I'm sorry. Did I say Giants?
Yeah,
I meant Jets. I apologize. I meant Jets.
Well, shit don't change.
No, I don't change. But I meant Jets. Sorry about that.
It's still football. It's probably worse.
I was going to say, either team, it still sucks.
It still sucks. He's not doing that. He's one now. I can't see him doing that.
I just retire at that point.
At that point, he might be hanging up. All right, guys, that's going to do it for us, man. I know it's late over there for you, Fog. I know it's about 11 o'clock. Not too bad for us. Again, Fog, congratulations on the victory yesterday. Huge victory. Are you going to the parade?
No.
Okay, I was wondering. Thanks to everybody.
I have a parade here.
Thanks to everybody who watched on the various
martinis.
Appreciate it. Subscribe to the YouTube. Appreciate Kevin Oliver and everybody else on the comment section. Game-winning drive this Wednesday. I will definitely try to be there. Again, for game-winning drive, you might see our ugly faces again, but just on a different platform. So you get more of us this week. But again, thank you guys very much for watching, and we'll see you guys next week.
See you.